Hey folks, this is Kelani. As more and more players progress through the Battle of Desartalor and find out what happens at the end, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone was looking to the horizon and wondering what comes next. I guess this might not happen until Jaina is available on looking for raid difficulty for quite a sizable chunk of the player base, and we probably won't see any new breadcrumbs or start of any new storyline until that happens, because that's how the dev team decided to do things with Uldir. But even though a new raid just opened up, we've actually been in patch 8.1 for a little while now. It won't be too long before the story moves on and both factions are left licking their wounds after the great losses on both sides. We know a few key parts of what's coming with the next patch, patch 8.1.5, including another raid and our first real steps towards delving into the void. I wanted to have a look at one item in particular that's fairly cool and might tie into some other areas of the game. A handful of other changes are active in the live game, while the PTR received a few other tweaks here and there, including to the Heirloom upgrade tokens we were just talking about. There's a lot to cover, so let's hop right in. If you haven't been keeping up with what's happening in patch 8.1.5, we're going to get just a little glimpse of NZOTH. Without spoiling anything too major, or without trying to, we find the Shadow Priest artifact from Legion, the old god locked in a blade, Xalatath, and for some reason, we decide it's a good idea to try and breathe some life back into this sentient and probably quite dangerous dagger. Fast forward however many steps that takes, and at some point in time we come into contact with NZOTH, at least long enough for this helmet transmog to become obtainable. It's currently named the Gift of NZOTH, so maybe we're on really good terms with the last old god. If we ask him nicely, he might just stop the whole corrupting everything and everyone idea and just let Azeroth be chill for a while. But probably not. Either way, it's a super cool transmog. If you ever wanted to create an old god themed set, now you can actually have an eyeball stuck right in the center of your forehead. Talk about a centerpiece. But if this transmog didn't, or doesn't, come directly from NZOTH, it definitely fits in somewhere else. With everything bad happening in the Warcraft universe being directly related to the old gods and the void in some capacity, seriously, it's all about the old gods apparently. I'm really surprised that the Darkmoon Fair is still happily chugging along like nothing is out of the ordinary. Why haven't some guards been sent over to check the place out? This could be the next staging ground of the void, just look around you! It all ties in with the old gods way too easily. What if the fair is actually a huge spy operation and NZOTH can see every time we fail a stupid cannon minigame? He's watching us through every single creepy eyeball, and when we have this helm transmog, he'll see everything we see. But I guess the Darkmoon Fair tied to the old gods isn't really news to anyone. I would love to see some cool transmog come out of the fair though. That would be pretty sweet and would obviously be the best thing to wear alongside your old god eyeball helmet. I wonder if we'll get any unique interactions while wearing this transmog at the Darkmoon Fair. That could be a nice little touch too. I hope we get some more updates to the fair as well if things get really bad with the old gods, just to keep things up to date. We actually will be getting a roller coaster in patch 8.1.5.2, so we know they haven't totally forgotten about the only fair Azeroth has ever seen. The roller coaster gives you the same wee buff as the merry-go-round, so we'll have a cooler, albeit more disorienting, way to grab our 10% experience and reputation buff whenever the Darkmoon Fair is up in patch 8.1.5. It's not all super weird in the next patch though. The Alliance are getting a new mount from some currently unknown source, and don't you worry, the dev team have made sure to grant you yet another horse. Wait, that's not a horse. Are you sure this is right? I mean, I know what the script says, but the pictures... Alright then, I guess there might be some mistake here, but that is a wolf mount in Alliance armor. But on a serious note, it's fantastic that there's some variety being considered here. Again, we're not sure where this mount comes from, so it could be tied to anything from the war campaign to a new PvP season. I think it's pretty symbolic that the typical staple mount for the Horde, and especially the Orcs, is being dressed up in Alliance armor. That's 100% a nod to the whole story of BfA, with Saurfang siding with, or at the very least working alongside, or not particularly against, some Alliance members to try and take down Sylvanas, because we all know that's where this is going. A wolf working with the enemy. Enjoy this one while you can. The next few mounts are probably going to be horses again. While we're on the topic of Horde vs Alliance and the whole faction conflict thing, did you know several areas of the game, including the port of Desartalor, didn't have any guards until now? I wondered why a handful of Alliance were just able to sit on our super special faction boat and wail away on unsuspecting victims. You would have thought Nathanos or Sylvanas might take up arms to defend their soldiers, but oh well, that's a thing of the past now. Extra guards have been posted in various areas of Battle for Azeroth, including the port, and a lot of the guards have been given a new workout routine. So now if you see a guard rushing towards you, chances are you're probably not going to survive if you try to stand your ground. So if you had a favourite spot to try and snipe the opposite faction as they were landing on a flight path or as they were leaving specific quest hubs, you might want to double check that to see if any new guards have been posted around the area very recently. And before we call it a day, I also wanted to touch on the changes to heirloom upgrades on the PTR right now. A few days ago we had a look at the 120 upgrade tokens on the vendor to see what price they were currently at. If you don't remember, it was 15,000 gold per armor piece upgrade and 22,500 gold for the weapon upgrades. Those values have in fact been reduced, but it's not just the 120 tokens which have been knocked down a peg. Every heirloom upgrade has had its cost reduced by at least half. I'll put this all together in a little chart for you to make sure it's nice and easy to understand, but for now, upgrading armor heirlooms to 90 will cost 500 gold, up to 100 will be 1000 gold, up to 110 will be 2000 gold, and the 120 upgrade tokens were reduced down to 5000 gold from 15,000 gold. That's a pretty significant drop in price from a total upgrade price per armor piece heirloom from 23,000 gold to 8,500 gold per heirloom. I guess they actually had their ears open for feedback on this particular topic after all. The weapon upgrades have also been reduced. Upgrading to 90 will cost you 750 gold, up to 100 will be 1500 gold, up to 110 will be 3000 gold, and the 120 upgrade was reduced to 7500 gold, down from 22,500. That's a total of 12,750 gold per weapon heirloom, down from 36,200 gold previously. That's a lot of gold saved. Now, there is a blue post stating these changes on the forums, and I'll link that in the comment section below so you can have a look for yourself, but the weird thing here is that the blue post says these changes should have been pushed in the latest PTR build, but if you log on to the PTR right now, you'll still see the higher gold costs which we were complaining about. Maybe they mean the next PTR build, or maybe this entire change has been miscommunicated, but either way, it's at least on their radar. So if you haven't upgraded your heirlooms yet, it's going to be quite a bit cheaper in patch 8.15 up to the 110 mark, and then we'll also gain access to the new 120 upgrade tokens to use them on all of our other alts that still need to get some levels in. So if you haven't done that yet, you'll actually save some gold if you just wait until the next patch. And then just in case you've been hiding under a rock for the last few days, or maybe you just aren't too interested in the world first race, NERFED claimed victory once again by killing Jaina on their very last day before the EU weekly reset. This race has been a bit of a roller coaster, but with the crazy preparations going into various guilds before the raid even opened, that we knew about, I'm sure there was way more that we didn't know about, and limit getting to Jaina with so much extra time when compared to all of their competition. A few weird hotfixes were also thrown into the mix which messed with NERFED's main strategy from what I understand, so they had to start trying something different, but then the hotfixes were reverted. It was a pretty big mess. I had wondered how the Frost Nova mechanic on the Elemental was supposed to work when making the Jaina Heroic Guide, because we never saw Frost Nova a single time, but to change something so crucial partway through Mythic was a bad call in my opinion, but it was put right fairly quickly. NERFED also re-cleared the entire raid on Mythic after reset, including Jaina once again for the world's second kill before anyone else managed to down the last boss. Limit eventually joined them as the only other guild to kill Jaina on Mythic, but to be down to clearing the entire raid in a single farm night already, that's pretty insane. I love that NERFED has started streaming their progress in the world first race. Not only does it give us a glimpse into how the strategies are created, but I think it's actually really great for the game. I hate to use Twitch as a measure of a game's success, but there is a pretty convincing link between how popular a game is on Twitch and how popular a game actually is. This kind of exposure is great for the game if you want the World of Warcraft to continue growing and expanding. I really hope the other guilds join in on the fun and open up their streams too. I know Limit is planning to do that from what I understand for the next raid tier. Hopefully they actually do. Seeing Limit versus NERFED live from both points of view would be pretty epic. It's a shame the next raid that we have coming our way only has 2 bosses. That's going to be interesting to see how that one pans out. But that's all I wanted to talk about for now. Things have been a little slow on the PTR lately. I wonder if we'll see patch 8.15 hit live servers fairly soon, or whether we'll have a pretty long wait again. I thought patch 8.1 would come quite a bit sooner than it did, but maybe that extra time was all the dev team needed to get back on track. I hate to bring up the 77-day rule thing again, but we might see a more consistent schedule of patches after the first few speed bumps of Battle for Azeroth. I expect 8.15 won't come too far after the last wing of LFR, if for nothing else because of the allied races. They have to get those 2 new races into our hands ASAP after the raid is opened up in its entirety for the whole player base, aka looking for raid, otherwise it's just excuse after excuse. But I've rambled on for too long, why didn't anyone stop me? What do you think about the new eyeball helmet? Do you think we'll have any meaningful choice when it comes to NZOTH and his gift and the old gods in the future? What do you think of a new alliance mount that isn't a horse? Leave all your thoughts in the comments section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.